Hey, this is Neil Flight, and I'm coming to you from within the SpartanCraft survival realm, and this is episode 5 of my realm tour series. And in my hand, I'm holding a black shulker box full of goodies, well, resources, that I have gathered up because today I'm going to do a build project for this episode. I'm going to build a marketplace shop so that I can finally join the marketplace here on the realm. Yes, everybody has a shop except for me, I think, and I think it's about time that we change that. So I hope you will join me as we do this little build project. The space that is available is over here. In fact, there's one marked out. It's pretty much the last one, although it looks like there is still some more space over here. But this is it. Here in the marketplace on SpartanCraft, shops are allowed to be only 7 by 7 by 7 maximum. So these are pre-marked out so that we know, and I'm going to place down a bed and place down my resources, and it's getting dark here, so I probably should sleep before I get started, and then once I've had a good night's sleep we can get started. Alright, so here is what I have for resources. I did some practicing in a creative world, and I'm going to show you what I'm building here. So based on those resources, did you guess? I am building a beacon rental service, and inside the white shulker box is all the materials so that people can sign up for the service. So the first thing I want to do is create a foundation. I don't know what's under here, but I hear, see, do you hear those zombies? I hear zombies, so I believe there are probably some zombies trapped underneath this area. So I'm going to dig this out carefully and hopefully not fall into some dangerous area. Aha, see? Yes. Okay, wow, that could have been instant death. And then there's some zombies down there trapped. Looked like they were all zombie villagers. But yeah, so now I'm going to dig this area out and put down a new floor. In fact, one of the resources that I gathered was some stone brick. Okay, so I've cleared out the area and cleaned it up, and I got rid of the zombies that were trapped down below, and put a layer to keep it safe. And anyway, I'm grabbing the stone brick, which I'm going to use as a foundational layer. I like to use that because if somebody happens to be digging underneath, so let's say, I don't know, they decide to put in a subway system, I guess. If they're digging underneath and they run into the stone brick, then it's pretty likely that they're not going to keep digging into my little shop here, because that will alert them that something man-made is above. So now I'm going to put down a floor pattern that I was playing with in the creative world. It's kind of funny. I don't know if you've ever been so lucky that like you create something in a creative world and then you go into your survival world and find out that you have almost all the resources. That kind of is what happened to me. I did have to make a few things, but I had everything I needed to at least make them, like this white concrete powder. I really liked it in the corners, so I'm going to put them just like this in the corners. The only thing that it was really kind of troublesome to make was this red nether brick. It takes so much nether wart to make this red nether brick. I've never used it before in a build, and it kind of surprised me. This doesn't quite look right. I mean, it looks okay. I'm not unhappy with it, but it's not what I was going for. I think I'm gonna have to mine this back up and lay it down differently. So anyway, excuse me. the only one that I had trouble with was this red nether brick, but fortunately our community farm has some nether wart in it, and I went and gathered up quite a bit there, so saved me tons of time. Thank you for our members who keep that community farm so well stocked and spend time. I know Spoon drops by there almost every time that he's on and does some harvesting and fills up the chests and replants everything and just kind of checks on it. So thanks Spoon for that, because it helped me out a ton in making the red nether brick. Yeah, this was closer to what I had before. I'm not going off a plan or a picture, I'm just trying to go from memory, and if it doesn't come out exactly the way I had it planned, I think I'm going to be okay with that. But I do remember that I had this obsidian and the white concrete powder and the nether brick forming up a interesting pattern on the floor, or at least a pattern that I felt was interesting and liked looking at. So I'm gonna lay down some more of this. I think based on the fact that I don't have enough obsidian, I think I laid down too much. I believe these center ones weren't there because I had all obsidian in the center where the actual beacon is going to go. And part of the design inspiration, I kept thinking about, well, beacons are all about these pyramids, right? They sit on top of a pyramid, so I'm going to try to echo that pyramid idea in the design a little bit. And that is, yeah, that's how it was. Pretty close to that at least. And on one side I will end up putting the shulker box, and that's where members can access to make payment and reserve the use of the beacon. Okay, so now I'll put this red nether brick down, and that is, yep, that's what I was going for. I am not a builder, so if my design principles are off or anything like that, that's just because I don't do it all that frequently. But I'm going to give it a try, and I figured starting small with something like a shop would work pretty well. Now I'm going to place this wall around the edges. Most of the stalls here in the marketplace or the market are kind of like walk-up stalls, and you walk up to a counter and then access the goods that are kind of on the opposite wall. And based on my location, since I'm kind of trapped in the middle of all the other market stalls, I thought that I should have more of a open design, something. I tried a couple different things and they were really cluttered and tight, and I think this one that's a little bit more open allows people to kind of approach it from all sides instead of just one side, and can kind of see into it and go into it and walk through it. So that makes it a little bit different than the other stalls here, a little bit unique. And again, the other thing is I wanted it to be like, instead of a wall of items, because I really am only offering one service, and that is the beacon itself. So it seemed to me that I'll just feature the beacon in the middle and then let people kind of just walk up to it and see it from the different angles. So anyway, that's kind of what I was thinking, and hopefully that works to my favor as we're going on. So I'm going to use, as you can see, I chose to use gold in the center, and that's what the beacon's going to rest on. And then, so like I said before, I'm going for sort of a, anyway, I'm going for sort of a pyramid scheme here. I want to echo the idea that beacons are built on top of these pyramids, and I'm going to do that with my shop. And I like the use of these iron bars because you can see through them, and it makes it feel even more open rather than having like solid walls. And they're not expensive, so that was it wasn't really my plan wasn't to make it super cheap, but after I started gathering the resources, I was like, oh, I'm so glad I learned how to, or I just kind of happened to pick fairly cheap resources, except for maybe that red nether brick. The rest seems to, excuse me, um, not really take too many resources to put together. Let's see. Yeah, I think that is what I'm going for here. Now I remember, yeah. So again, like trying to echo that pyramid design, and I'm doing it with the iron bars. You know, I think I'm going to play with this a little bit and then let you see the result, because I need to kind of work with it, and I'm having a hard time talking and working at the same time. Okay, so I have the four sides all uniform, but it was looking too much like a cage to me, and I remember having this issue before, and then I decided to throw one of these wall posts here on the corners, so I'm going to do that all the way around as well, and that kind of opens it up and gets rid of the cage-like feeling of it. Alright, I'm happy with that, and now I'm ready to create some sort of canopy over the top, and I've got this glass, which if the other shops here in the market have like checkerboard patterns on their roofs with wool, and so I'm kind of going to mimic that as well. I'm going to have a checkerboard pattern with black and red. That's not a color combination that's being used by anybody else at this time. And I'm going to use glass because, again, it's more, feels more open, it's see-through, and it's different than any of the other materials that people are using. So you can see some examples there with the red and white and the gray and white. So it kind of mimics what other people are doing, but also does its own thing. And I'm kind of going for like a canopy effect, like a craft fair. You might have a canopy over the craft area instead of full-on covering of some sort. So this is going to be open covering. It's not actually going to be a full like roof. So I'm going to keep adding this on, and I'll let you see what it looks like as we get to the end of it. I'm going to build it out towards the edges. Oh, I guess I can get rid of that sign. And yeah, so I'm going to build it out and around the outside edge here as well, so it has a nice forward-facing face on it that will look like this there on all four corners. Alright, I'm ready to place the shulker box with the vouchers in it so that players can purchase time with the beacon. And that, I think, puts me at a spot where I can place the beacon now and put up some signs. So I'll put the beacon here in the center of the gold blocks. And let's take a look at it. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Alright, this is the last of the signs that I'm adding. So I'm using Windows PC, so I have to do the Alt 0167 to get the special character, and then E gives me this gold color. And then I'm going to change colors to white, which is F, and make an arrow, because I'm trying to guide everybody around to the front side, And since all the sides look the same, um, arrows are going to help. So 4 gives me this really cool blue that looks like diamonds. And I have to repeat it. I mean, not 4, sorry, B. I saw the 4 and I said 4. But you have to repeat it, otherwise it turns black on the last line. I don't know if that's a glitch or if it's intended, but now every side has an arrow that points it to the front where the shulker box is, and then players can put their diamonds on the spaces where the vouchers are at. Basically, this is how I see it working. Realm members will come up to the kiosk and find their way to the shulker box, and then they can either make a reservation by grabbing the reservation book and typing in their name and the dates that they would like to rent the beacon, and then put it back in the shulker box, and then they can put their diamonds wherever the vouchers are. Or they can just put the diamonds on the vouchers and let me know that they are taking the beacon. The last thing I'm going to do is go ahead and activate the beacon. It gives, maybe, just draws people's attention that there is a beacon. And here is a final shot of how it's all nestled into the SpartanCraft market. Thank you for watching. Bye now.